Hi, fifth graders and families. It's Mr. McComb coming at you with a Sunday update. It's almost noon Sunday, so hopefully you guys get the chance to see this before the end of the day, so you know what's going on in our week ahead. So we got September 14th through 18th coming up this week. Just in general, a couple things before we start. Big thanks. I just want to say thanks to everybody that wished me a happy birthday. I really don't make too big a deal out of my birthday anymore, or try not to. It's usually so busy with the start of the year. It's sort of forgotten most often, which is fine with me. But really was very touched and heartwarming to get some letters from the kids and some of the teachers that did some things and some parents too. So thank you to you parents that made it a special day. It wasn't an easy birthday coming in on a Tuesday after a long weekend and then having to stay around for a staff meeting. It was kind of a busy night too, but it was really special to get as much recognition as I got. And again, I don't usually seek that out. I'd rather keep it to myself if I can, but it was really nice to get some nice encouragement, some nice letters and little treats and things from some teachers and parents and kids all alike. So thanks for that. Also, masses are starting next Wednesday, the 23rd. I think the original plan was the 16th. So just in case anybody's wondering about that or parents might be asking about that, that's when we're going to begin. I know that it's going to be just like everything else, going to be kind of different. I believe parents aren't allowed to attend. I know that's something special that some parents like to do, but it's going to be a little different. So I think Mrs. Froelich sent some information to all parents. I know what teachers got some about just kind of the new way of that, but it is something we're looking forward to getting started on a weekly basis as much as possible, even through our new kind of setup. So again, not this week, but the next week. It just looks like we're delayed one more week, and then we'll be on to sort of the regular mass schedules with that. So that's going to, anyway, about the news I have. Just to get into some subjects really quickly, science. Last week we got into types of investigations, learned about experimental testing, observational testing, and using models, which was a lot of fun. Using models is a type of investigation that probably we don't think of too often, but we looked at a few examples like how we can have some complex models, like this is called a shake table, to simulate earthquakes and model building destruction, and hopefully, fixing up buildings and designing buildings to avoid that destruction and things. But also how we can make some models, like this is a sort of a at-home version of an earthquake model using just Legos and Jello. So again, don't have to always be great, big, expensive examples. We also talked about how models are going to be used often to help us study things that are too big or too expensive or too far away to observe in reality. And we talked about even just our globe. We can learn a lot from that about the way the Earth works and some features of the Earth. So again, models are often not considered or thought of very often compared to experiments and investigations, but that was a big one there. This week we're going to get back. With the short week, we didn't get all the way. We got all the way through the lesson, but didn't get to finish the lesson like I normally would like to. So we'll kind of come in this next week and review some of those things, and then get into a little project. Part of this lesson was about displaying results of data. So whether it's appropriate to use bar graphs or line graphs or circle graphs or even just diagrams and sketches to show the information you're trying to convey of what you learned, we're going to get a little practice with that, and that's always fun. It's all, like, I call that sort of like the chance to be a little artistic and creative with our showing what we found out. So we'll do a quick little mini project with that this week for science. In math, last week we got into just the process of multiplying single digits, which was still kind of it was in the textbook, but a good way to review some of the things that they've learned in fourth grade and kind of get back and ready for action as far as when we get into the more complex stuff with fifth grade. Main emphasis was on using estimates to guide us in that process. So the week before we had worked on how we can multiply using mental math with just basic facts and powers of 10. So if I know I'm multiplying by 100, say, that's 2 powers of 10. We talked about how those patterns work to allow us to just quickly get that answer using some mental math skills. And this week we'll continue to focus on that process. We'll start using multiplying by multi-digit numbers, so 2-digit factors especially. Again, big focus on the process. Some of the kids are working on, kind of getting back and steady and quick with the basic facts, just the multiplication facts to help us through that. And we'll kind of continue with that. Again, using those estimates to help us guide us. I mean, we kind of looked at a few examples of where if we have a good estimate and know how to use that as a tool, not just a thing that we do because the teacher says estimate first and then find the answer. If we use it as a tool to help us through it, we'll be doing a good job and help us catch mistakes if they happen. And with these processes we're going through, it is possible to make one little mistake that kind of messes up the whole answer. So if we use that estimate as a tool to check, that can be really helpful. So that's kind of some of the good work we were doing in math. In English, last week, just kind of got into the textbook, gotten used to using the textbook and the workbook. We got into some lessons on nouns, person, place, things, and ideas. We came up with some student-led examples with types of nouns of these different categories and choosing things we like. This week we'll continue with nouns a little bit and get into common and proper nouns and singular and plural nouns. We'll just kind of keep going through the whole nouns unit. Again, that's a good way to get off to a solid start on some parts we're kind of familiar with. So that's our week ahead. I did also want to share, usually in my newsletters at times I'll kind of share some of the things that I'm up to outside of school with my family and things, a little bragging time. Hasn't been too much going on lately, but we did finally get to play some soccer. So I coached my son's soccer team. We had our first game Saturday, and we did win, which was great. It was a great start, and it did also kind of make me think about the way things are going here at school and how we kind of have some rough days and some good days, and we kind of get used to a new way of doing some things. Same kind of thing with our soccer team. We were practicing the first few weeks before we even knew if we were going to get to play a season. A lot of uncertainty just with the current situation. But just like with school, a lot of uncertainty, but once we get into it, hopefully we realize we can make this work. And so again, we're going to keep doing a good job with that. Just like in school, you can't see in my picture here, but I'm wearing a mask. We're keeping kids spread apart. On our sideline, we have the kids spread out just like in school, sitting with their parents and keeping family groups separate. So doing the things we got to do to kind of make it work and make it happen. So with that, and again, what's going on in school, it kind of had me reflecting a little bit on some of the good work we're doing. I know it's not always easy. Some days we'll have tough days. Last week we had a tough day where kids just weren't quite on board and all rowing in the same direction. And that'll happen sometimes. Just like in our game, we had a tough second quarter, but the kids rallied and played hard. Just like at the end of last week, we had a great second half to the week. Once we maybe had to stop and have a little discussion about, the way to kind of go about things and make sure we're taking school seriously and getting some good work done. And just like I told my soccer boys, that we can always have fun with soccer, but we got to also make sure we're taking care of business too, doing our best to get the good results. And just like in soccer or other sports, there's going to be tough days ahead, but hopefully that makes the good days worth it. So, we were great to get off to a good start with a win, just like we've been great to get off to a good start with the school year. It's not always going to be easy. There's going to be good days and bad. There's going to be tough games and tough practices and great practices. But that's kind of part of the whole process. So anyway, there's something going on there. My son had a great time with his team. This is Aiden here. He likes to get in there. He really plays hard and mixes it up. So hopefully we'll keep doing that, working hard here in school and having a good time with it as well. So I'll see you guys Monday. We got a full week ahead of us here coming up. So I'm looking forward to it, and I'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning. All right, thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your Sunday, and we'll talk to you later.